Okay guys, so now what we're going to be doing, we'll be looking at the amplifiers again, and this time we're going to use an IC 741. It's an op-amp, and then we are going to build two circuits. It's going to be the inverting amplifier and also the non-inverting amplifier. So basically when you talk about the inverting amplifier, we say that if you give it an input signal, a sine wave like that, it will give you an amplified wave on the output, or amplified signal on the output. However, it will be 180 degrees out of phase as compared to the input. And then when you look at the non-inverting one, you give it a small signal on the output, it will give you an amplified one. However, it will be in the same phase. The only thing that will change about is the amplitude will be actually amplified. So let's look at the 741 IC, how it works. If you look at this diagram here, it shows you that the pin number 1 is going to be our offset null, pin number 2 is going to be the inverting input. In other words, if you give a signal on that input, then on the output it will give you an inverted one. And then if you give a signal on pin number 3, which is the non-inverting, and then on the output it will be in the same phase, meaning it won't be inverted, however it will be amplified. Pin number 7 and pin number 4, that's where you put your VCC, and then pin number 4 you can either take it to ground or you can take it to a negative voltage, depending on how you have configured your circuit, if it's an amplifier or it's a comparator, which I'll do a little bit later on. So now, because we want to do the amplifier on pin number 4, we're going to take it to a negative voltage, and then I'll just show you the reason now. If we have the circuit over here, we need to take it to the negative voltage so that on the oscilloscope it will be able to show us both the positive cycle and the negative cycle, and then this will be shown by the VCC. So if we give it 5 volts and then minus 5 volts, what on the oscilloscope will appear, will have 5 volts there, and then we've got minus 5, and then it will cut it off here to say that the gain of the amplifier, it should only swing between the positive VCC and the negative one. So in other words, if the gain is going to be too high, then the amplifier is going to saturate on the output, then you won't be able to see this wave on the output, then it will just cut it off, because now it cannot accommodate it. That is only if the gain is too much or is too high, such that the amplitude is actually bigger than the VCC. So I'm gonna use my 741, and then if you put it like this, on this first leg here we've got pin number 1, and then down there's going to be pin number 4. So going down this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from this side going up there it will be 5 up until 8. So it's an 8-pin IC. So I'm gonna put the first one here for our inverting amplifier, and then I'm gonna put the other one here for our non-inverting amplifier. Just make sure that the dot is on the side, because this dot, the pin, or actually the leg close to the dot, is actually leg number 1. So I'm gonna put it like this. I can take it a little bit further and then put it there. So what's gonna happen now is that I need to take my voltages. So you'll see there on pin number 7, if we go back to the diagram, find that on pin number 7 I need to take it to the VCC. So since I've got pin number 8 here, so I've got pin number 7 there, so I'll just connect it here, and then I've got the VCC there. So it's connected this side, and therefore the same thing on the other op-amp. I'm just going to connect pin number 7 here, and therefore take it to VCC there. So connect it like this, and then now it's fully connected there. And therefore the other thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to take the if you look at this diagram of the inverting one, which is going to be the first one, it says you take the 100K, and then from pin number 6 to pin number 2, which is actually the negative input, so which is actually the inverting input. So I'll take on pin number 6, which is actually the output, this is the feedback resistor, so I'll put the feedback resistor there, and therefore I'll put it to pin number 2. That's our 100K, and therefore I'll take our 10K, I'll just put it here, and then I'll just put it like this, and then it will mean on this side, that's going to be where I'll put the input wave. and therefore the output one will be measured here. So I can just put a wire there, and that's how I'll get my output. So now I need to deal with the negative voltage. So what I'll do, since all of them they need that negative voltage, I'll just connect all pin number 4, all of their pin number 4, connect this one here, and then connect the other one this side, and therefore put a wire here. So that's how I'll bring my negative voltage. I'll just put it here and then connect it this side. So I'll put it like this. It's going to be the output, that's going to be the input. And therefore the other thing that I need to do, I need to take the ground on pin number 3. I need to take it to ground on my inverting op-amp or inverting amplifier. So I can actually use this one over here, then take pin number 3, and I can take it and just put it this side, and I can take pin number 3 down to ground. So I'll use this line this side as my ground. So that's for my inverting. And therefore now when I go to my non-inverting, it says here that I need to take the 100K connected to from pin number 6 to pin number 2. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did that side. So this is going to be my pin number 6, connect it here, and then I'll take it to pin number 2, put it here on pin number 2, and therefore I need to take my 10K down to ground. So I'll connect this one, that's going to be my 10K there, and therefore I'll put it down to ground this side. So I still need to put another wire here as my ground. So I'll put it there, and therefore now I need to put the input. So I just need to take a wire, connect it on pin number 3. So that's my pin number 3, it's this side. That's going to be the input. It's going to be the input there, and therefore I've given it the positive voltage there, and therefore I've got a negative one that I'm going to connect here, and then everything now is connected. So what I'm going to do now, I need to take it from my power supply and then connect the stuff. Right, so that's actually how you get to connect your circuit. So what's going to happen is that this is the input of my inverting amplifier, and then this one is going to be the input of my non-inverting amplifier, and then this side is going to be my negative voltage connected to pin number 4, and then this side is going to be the output, and then also I'm going to need the other output of my non-inverting. So it's going to be here on pin number 6, so I'll connect it here on pin number 6, and therefore that's going to be the output of the non-inverting amplifier. So that's actually how you're going to connect it. Right, so now I'm gonna do the connections. Can take this one as my negative voltage. So basically, to get your negative and positive voltage on the power supply, you just take it on series mode there, and therefore these two, they are going to be interconnected, so they are going to be they are going to be common. And then now you can just use this one, and when you measure the voltage between this one and that one using it as a reference, you're going to get a negative voltage, and then when you measure between this one and that one, then you're going to get a positive voltage. So what's going to happen is that now I'll take this positive one, which is actually my VCC. I'll actually put a wire here for the VCC, just put it there, and that's my VCC there, and therefore I'll take this positive 5 volts, and I'll put it there, and therefore the other thing that I'm gonna do, I'll take this one which is the common one. I'll just put it there, just connect it over there, and therefore now actually put it like this, and therefore now I need to put the negative voltage. So the negative voltage, I'll just take this one here and therefore put it over here. It's going to be my negative voltage there. And then now I'm going to deal with the inverting. So with the inverting, I'll just take the input from the signal generator here, put it here on the input, it's going to be my input there, and therefore I'm going to put the ground this side. And then what I'm going to do, I need to measure, so I'll measure the input and the output. So I'll take this one here, that's going to be the input. So I'll just measure it between this leg here, between this leg here. You can actually take it on this side. Measure it on this leg. Take this other one this side on ground. That's going to be my input, and therefore I'm going to take this one to be my output, and then I'm going to do the same thing, measure it between this one, which is pin number 6 here, and therefore I'll take it also to ground this side, which will be the ground, and then that's how I'm going to be connecting my circuit. Right, so I've got my power supply here, and then I've got my signal generator there, and I've got my oscilloscope there. So I'll give it a wave on the signal generator, an input of 200 millivolts peak to peak, which is actually 100 and 100 down there, and therefore I'll give it a voltage this side. Just press the output there, 5 volts this side, and therefore that's how it's going to be. So the yellow one is going to be the input, and then the blue one is going to be the output. So you can see that on the output there is a gain, and then on the input there, comparing it to the output is bigger than the input, and then it's inverted. So for every positive cycle, then on the output it will replicate it as the negative cycle, so it's going to invert the whole thing. So that's actually how it works. That's the inverting op-amplifier. Okay, coming to our non-inverting op-amp, I'll still do the same thing. This one here, I'll use it as my common, so I'll just put it there, and therefore I'll take a positive voltage. So this one is going to be my negative voltage. So my negative voltage, I'll put it on pin number 4. That's pin number 4 there, the negative voltage there, and therefore I'll take the positive voltage and I'll put it on VCC there. Just put it like this, then put it this side. That's my positive voltage there, and therefore now I'm going to take my input signal, and the input signal I'm going to put it on pin number 3. Remember, it is the non-inverting, so I'll just take it here on pin number 3. That's the input signal, and then I'll put the ground here. Actually put the ground down here on the resistor, the same ground, and therefore now I'm going to have to do the measurements. I'll take this one, which is the yellow one. It's going to be the input, so I'll measure the input here. So the input is actually going to pin number 3, so I'll put this one here. That's going to be pin number 3 this side, and therefore the other one is going to go to the common there, or to ground the side, and therefore now I'll take the other one. It's going to be our output I'm gonna measure it on pin number 6. So I'll put it here on pin number 6, this side, and therefore on the other side I'll just take it here. Right, so that's actually how you're gonna connect it. Remember now the input, it needs to be in the same phase, but it needs to be in the same phase with our output, however it needs to be amplified. So that's actually how to connect it. That's our non-inverting. Right guys, so now I'm gonna give it a voltage. I'll just press output there, so I've got 5 volts there, and therefore I'm gonna give it an input there. So you can see the yellow one, there's the input, and then the blue one is the output. However, it's no longer inverted, they are in the same phase, but it's being amplified. So that's actually our non-inverting amplifier.